All right, let's do it. Hey, girl. I'm Max. I am the raid leader and GM for Team Liquid's WoW Raiding Guild. We were the most recent champions during the Race World First in Aberrus. So we have 3 dogs here. We got Lily, which is, she's been an absolute pro. You can't see it on camera, but she's been sitting here still for like 20 minutes. We have Ella. Ella, come here. Ella's her sibling, another Great Dane, very sweet. And then we have Reptar, our new puppy who joined the family. He's very sweet, 6 months old. Hey, buddy. I'm here to talk about what the guild and I do in between the race. And huge shout out to Thorn for being a big supporter of us during the race and for sponsoring this video. As soon as the race ends, almost every time what I do is go in for the Great Slumber, which is a nice 12-hour rest. No matter how much you sleep during the race, there's so much mental exhaustion from doing this. All day, every day, you're pushing yourself as far as you can go. So pretty much every player, regardless of how much sleep you've been getting, which this time we actually had very little sleep on the last day, but yeah, you usually have like 2 or 3 days of just knocking out. So I went to sleep, yeah. I can't speak for a lot of the players in my guild, but I know that I take my health in the off season really seriously now. I know that like a lot of my decisions that I make, a lot of people rely on that. So I've done a lot to, especially incorporating Thorn products. I actually do the daily multivitamin from Thorn and just making sure that I'm healthy every day. I stream every day, so like I feel like it's good. And mostly what I do on my stream is I just talk. So I kind of need to show up mentally good every single day. So I've kind of created a practice that has helped me in races that has certainly been a lot better now with Thorn than it used to be in the past. Sleep Plus is a huge help with that. I actually think in Vault the Incarnates was the first race where we had this introduced to us, but they gave us a Thorn package at the actual event that included Sleep Plus, the little sleep pucks you put in water. Our guild has been using them. I use them every night since. They are the perfect balance of not enough melatonin or too much. You don't feel groggy in the morning, but you will go to sleep in like 30 to 40 minutes. I swear by it. I've told a stranger on the plane about it. I'm a huge Sleep Plus guy. Outside the race, the guild is just like a big family, just like most bigger friend groups. If you guys have Discord friend groups that you play new games with, it's very much like that with just a lot more people. There's a new game, a lot of people are on the same Discord channel playing it, even in different groups. It can be a bit chaotic, but it's fine. We'll travel to things like BlizzCon together. A few players actually go on routine trips like through Europe. I think last year we had 3 or 4 players actually travel together and go to a lot of different countries. Yeah, people are pretty close. Basically every new game that comes out we play together. Lost Ark came out before like a couple raids ago, and like most of the people in the guild were just playing that at the same channel. Diablo just came out. I'm pretty sure our whole guild, one of the things they wanted to do is level to 100 and kill Lilith. Because WoW is a seasonal game, a lot of guilds think of it as this thing they're doing all season, because it takes a lot of people 2 to 3 months to clear this raid. We clear it in a week. So naturally, we spend a lot of our time in the off season playing every new game that comes out. So we're pretty true seasonal WoW players. The sales pretty much right after the race. Actually, the most gold you can make is doing heroic AOTC carries right as soon as the race ends and just like doing it over and over and over again. That's when it has the highest value and it's the least like time put in. So typically we start right away, especially a lot of our players on their own do Mythic Plus boosting, which makes a lot as well. That goes all the way up to the next tier, but I will say it's a bit less now. So from Vault to Aberrus was probably the most intensive a Race to World First prep was in between tiers, and Aberrus to the next raid is maybe the easiest it's ever been. With the new upgrade system, the amount of work required is infinitely less. To prevent burnout, you can do a lot of things, but I would say one of the main things we do is we just make sure that our players are only doing as much as they want. We don't have hard set character requirements. You know, people do what they want to do, and if someone is a really good player and they don't have time to make 8 or 9 characters, they only want to make, 4 or 5 or whatever, we can accommodate that. We would much rather, basically you can only play at this level if you're passionate enough to do it. If at any point you're like, I'm doing this as a job, you're immediately not going to be good enough to do this. So you have to make sure that the players that are good enough to be here are having fun at what they do, or else you're defeating the purpose of having them do that in the first place. Definitely the toughest job in the off season is Scott. He's the main person who's handling recruitment, which is a big deal. He handles the splits, the spreadsheets for the splits. He does a bit of extra raid leading during the runs, especially if I can't be there, like for things like today. Yeah, Scott is definitely the MVP of farm. The race has been optimized a lot since Ny'alotha. There's an indescribable amount of things that have changed since then as far as everything, but also just in our prep. Like, I feel like if I looked back then, like it would be so much different. The stuff that we do now, the stuff that I do now is just much more important. We just pay a lot closer attention to what we're eating, what we're drinking, how much we're drinking, how much water we're drinking, when to stop drinking caffeine during the day, and how that affects your sleep if you're doing this for like a week. So yeah, a lot of stuff has changed. For any new players getting into this, everyone is always their best self 2 to 3 races in. There's really nothing you can do to replicate playing the game for 16 hours a day. But really the most important thing is to make sure you eat and get good sleep. I would say eating's even more important. If I had to choose between showing up to a raid without any sleep at night or without having eaten, eating is not eating is far worse. You will be irritable, you will play bad. It's super important. So I think staying on top of your health during the race is the main thing when jumping up guild ranks and getting to this level that you can't do well your first time. You almost have to do it, mess it up, and then learn and get better at it. I've done a lot of these, so I was definitely much worse before. I actually, really honestly, I know I'm shouting out Sleep Plus a lot, but that is something where I got terrible sleep during this in the past because your mind races. I'm just thinking about strats and comps all night. Sleep Plus and then listening to podcasts is like the only thing I've ever taught myself on how to actually routinely fall asleep during the night. Thanks to Thorn for sponsoring this video. And of course, obviously, thanks to the fans. We need their support every race. We really felt it last time and can't wait for the next one. They did so good.
They were such good. They were awesome.
Especially Lily. Lily's actually a pro.